going on, Jerome's? So everyone knows the story. Minnesota Vikings traded up to the number 10 overall pick to take JJ McCarthy, the pride of Michigan, to be the future franchise quarterback of the Vikings. And Kevin O'Connell, that connection is going to be amazing for many, 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 many years to come. Many Jerome Bardys. And, Sam Darnold, the number 3 overall pick in 2018. Former Jets, bust. Former Panthers, bust. Backup with the Niners last year. $10 million will just be the bridge quarterback. He'll be the seat warmer. He'll start a couple games until JJ McCarthy is ready to rock and roll. And then we'll be off to the races, right? And then Darnold will be an also-ran. You know what? Maybe if Darnold does okay, we'll bring him back on a cheap deal to be McCarthy's backup. Maybe. But then, all right, so obviously McCarthy out for the season with that meniscus full repair. And slinging Sam Darnold has looked really damn impressive through his first 4 games. So he's put up 932 yards passing. He's completing just under 69% of his passes. Nice. 11 touchdowns versus 3 picks. 11 touchdowns leading the league, as well as a 118.9 quarterback rating, which would have led the NFL last season. So all that is pretty good. Pretty good. And the game against the Packers, he was the epitome of steadiness, 20 of 28 for 275, 3 touchdowns. The pick wasn't really a pick. It was not. Xavier McKinney, no big deal. I did have a fumble from the blind side, but either way, he operated in a hostile environment with aplomb. He looked really damn good, and the Vikings were able to get out of Green Bay with a win. And Darnold, first 4 games, 100-plus passer rating, and he is the first Vikings quarterback in team history to start out 4-0 in a season, as well as have 2+ touchdown passes in each of the games, which, again, is pretty damn good. And the 33rd team put this out. Sam Darnold's stats this season among all quarterbacks first 4 games. Yards, 6th, first in touchdowns, tied for first in yards per attempt. So it's not like he's just checking it down. No, he's going downtown, baby. Second in the league right now with a 118.9 quarterback rating, as well as a 0.09 EPA, 9th in the league. So there you go. And also, you almost need to take the names off the jerseys, right? So Josh Allen asked thank you on Sunday Night Football against the Ravens. And also Mahomes struggled in the Chargers game. So take the names off of the jerseys. Sam Darnold's been the most consistent quarterback in the NFL this season, bar none. Right, quarterbacks start 4-0 and throw 10+ pass touchdowns the first 4 starts with the team since 2000. Mahomes, 2018, his second season with the Chiefs, where he was handed the keys. Threw 50 touchdowns that year, by the way. Kind of insane. But Darnold, new lease on life, 4th team, finally working out, and he's looking good to go. Also, he looks really good in that throwback uniform, man, doesn't he? Absolutely. And Darnold also, looking like the lead singer from Fall Out Boy in his postgame. It's a change up from his Denim Dan Canadian tuxedos, which is pretty good. But, the question is right now, what's going to happen for the future? Now, I know we're only 4 games in, but every single game that Sam Darnold plays at a Pro Bowl or All-Pro level, the question gets louder and louder. And the Vikings are frankly going to have a tough conversation. But as we said from the jump, it's a very good problem to have. Do they bring back Sam Darnold? Do they franchise tag him? Do they tag and trade him? Do they just let him walk and hope for a compensatory pick, which they probably won't get? We'll get into, and just hand the keys over to JJ McCarthy. Is he ready? Even with a year up on blocks, can't practice. He's been in all those practice rooms, and he's been getting those mental reps and the meeting rooms and position rooms and all that stuff. So it's a good question. But a couple factors in it. So number one, Sam Darnold's playing at a high level. Now, if he keeps this up this entire year, I think that there's a good case that he could be a Pro Bowler. But yes, the Vikings won't be playing in the Pro Bowl because they'll be playing in the Super Bowl. Blah, 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 blah. Dad joke, whatever. But also, he could be in All-Pro conversation. Could he be second team All-Pro? Certainly. Could he be in the MVP conversation? As of right now, you'd have to say yes. Could he be in Comeback Player of the Year conversation? Even under the new guidelines where you basically have to come back from an injury, I still say yes because people vote how they want to vote, right? So all that factors in. Also, Darnold's only 27, and we Vikings fans have been wanting the future franchise guy for so long, and Darnold has the bulk of his prime ahead of him. He came to the league out of USC, at just 20 years young, was ruined by the Jets, did not do well, did okay with the Panthers, and then did not do okay with the Panthers. But also, America's quarterback clearly has chemistry, not only with the weapons, Jefferson, Addison, Naylor, eventually Hawkinson, but also with Kevin O'Connell. Like, it's clear that he and Kevin O'Connell are kindred spirits right now, and whether Darnold's here or not, it makes you feel good about the future with JJ McCarthy, because Kevin O'Connell can coach his balls off, man, especially quarterbacks. Like, he's never beating these quarterback whisperer allegations. Also, here's a factor. The Vikings have $76 million in cap space in 2025. Now, JJ McCarthy's on his rookie deal, and that's a huge competitive advantage of having your starting quarterback on his rookie deal, and you can spend everywhere else. But, I mean, if Darnold is that dude, do you just pay it? Right? And the franchise tag is estimated to be around $43 million in 2025. I think that's unlikely. I think what's more likely, if he's back, it's a 2 or 3 year deal, but really with guarantees in 1 year. But also, I mean, let's factor in, like, Darnold is going to have a huge free agent market. But also, would Darnold, for a couple million extra, go to a place where he doesn't have as good an infrastructure, like the Giants? Or would he go to the Raiders? Right, where he wouldn't have the same coaching, he wouldn't have the same infrastructure, he wouldn't have the same weapons and offensive line as he does here in Minnesota. Like, would he do that? Potentially regress for a couple extra $1 million? I don't know. Like, he hasn't really gotten paid as of yet, so that is also a factor in there. But I think that if he's back, it would be a 2 or 3 year deal with the guaranteed money up front, in 1 year, where the Vikings could easily trade his contract if JJ McCarthy is ready to rock and roll in 2026, or if things don't work out with Darnold in 2025. But also, what if Darnold's just a guy? What if Darnold is what we wanted Kirk Cousins to be, what we've pined for in terms of a franchise quarterback, and a guy who clearly puts up huge numbers and gets wins and gets dubs with everything in place here in Minnesota? And also, I believe in JJ McCarthy, don't get me wrong. But the level that Sam Darnold is playing at right now, you hope that JJ McCarthy can get there, right? So it's like, hey, do we want the boat or what's behind the mystery door? Anything could be behind the mystery door, maybe even a boat. Or is it a box? Doesn't matter. But I don't know, like, it's a debate that could rage on and could divide the fan base, and I'm perfectly fine with it because it's a good problem to have for the Vikings. You have two guys that you can believe can be your future franchise quarterback. And also, I mean, just because McCarthy's heading into year 2 doesn't mean that he needs to be handed the job. I mean, there's several notable examples of quarterbacks who have sat for 2, 3, 4 years, maybe even more, right? And also, if the Vikings want to go down the route of trading Darnold, I mean, tag and trade is a possibility at one of those quarterback needy teams. Now, you wouldn't get the full freight 2 first-rounders, but could you get a 1 and a 2, maybe a 1 and a 3, or a 2 and a 3, or a 2 and a 2? I don't know. Like, there's lots of possibilities there, but I think the least likely is that he just walks and you hope for a compensatory pick in 2026, because if he walks, the Vikings still have that $76 million cap space. They're going to be spenders. So it's going to cancel out anything that they get from Darnold in terms of the comp formula. So it's a moot point. So basically, they'll just be letting Sam Darnold walk for nothing, which seems less than ideal at this point. But like we said, there's a lot of football left to be played. There's a lot of football left to be played. But also, I mean, we're at the quarter mark of the season, essentially. 4 games in, Sam Darnold is legitimately playing like a Pro Bowl MVP candidate. And he's done it against great defenses. He's done it on the road twice. And now, the question is, can he keep it up all season? I think there certainly is a very good chance. And I think that when it's all said and done, I think that Darnold will be a minimum MVP finalist. He'll be at minimum a Pro Bowler, maybe even an All-Pro. And if and when he leads the Vikings to a division title and a playoff run, the Vikings are going to have a tough choice. But like I said, you can't really go wrong. I mean, you have a guy that the coaching staff and everyone loves and believes. He works his ass off. He's got all the traits, and he can ascend, and he can be that guy. And he's only 21. Where you have Darnold, who's only 27, he's showing up and showing out, and he's looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League right now. right now. But we'll make that decision when it comes to it. But get ready. Get ready. Tough decision incoming. But your thoughts are thoughts. Will Sam Darnold be back with the Vikings in 2025? America's quarterback. Let us know your thoughts. Our thoughts, comment section. You guys know what to do. Skull, production value.